our channel, ladies and gentlemen. William Samoei Ruto today came face to face with the Generation Z. And after this encounter, there is a sudden change of heart from the Kenya Kwanza government, something that to me is very suspicious. At first, when these people went to the streets, some people treated them as non-entities. I remember the majority leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, had described them as this group that will arrive in town in Uber, carrying iPhones, and then get to KFC to have a meal. But then today, they came in their numbers after warning politicians that we will not allow those who supported the Finance Bill 2024 to speak in our churches. We will not allow them to justify what we feel is an illegality, social injustice, social and economic injustice. And two things happened. One, most of the members of parliament switched off their phones, and today they never went to any churches. If you want to know that this generation is so serious and they pose a danger to our politicians, they never went. Our members of parliament who are, fond of going to the churches to play their usual politics, to accuse each other, they never attended. And because I was looking at the mainstream media, NTV saying that they went to, is it Holy Family Basilica, all the churches around town and even beyond, the members of parliament were not there. That tells you that they knew that this generation is serious because they saw the numbers. And they have decided that if you can't beat them, then you can join them in one way or the other. They thought that by trying to drag in Raila's name in this, they would dilute the strength of the group. But the team is as united as ever. At some point, they thought that they could, segregate them in terms of their political cocoons. Then they realized too that this generation is non-tribal. They don't care. All they want is someone who can solve their problems. And then finally, they realized that they can't be divided anymore. They are united. The manner and the mode of their communication is social media. You will not wait for them in Uhuru Park to see someone announcing, the mode is social media. They are digital. And then they realize, we are sitting on a time bomb. And then also, they just remembered that they promised this team that they would be included in the government. And nothing has happened. So today, William Ruto was saying that he is ready to engage this team. He wants to talk to them.
I am very proud of our young people. They have stepped forward tribeless. They have stepped forward peaceful. And I want to tell them, we are going to engage them. We are going to have a conversation so that together we can build a greater nation. What I want to assure them is that we are concerned about their issues. In this year's budget, I have enhanced the budget going to CDF to increase by 10 billion so that young people can get bursary, and young people, we can build ICT hubs so that these young people can get digital jobs, because we know the challenge of unemployment in our country. Let me also tell the young people of our nation that in this year's budget also, we have increased our higher education loans board so that no child from any vulnerable family can lack.
Perhaps what one would ask is, why now? Why would William Ruto just feel that all of a sudden he has landed from the moon and he has realized that we have a generation that needs to be talked to? And why this sudden change of mind? Why all of them? Because if you listened to Cleopas Malala, Cleo is saying that, and I know they are now praising the team. One, they are saying that they're united. They're telling this team that they are not segregated along the tribal lines, and they're showering them with praises. Cleo Malala was also saying that if he gets a chance, he wants to organize for a meeting between these people and the president. And I heard something that sounded suspicious, that he wants the leaders, so that the leaders can go and tell them what they want. But this is a fallacy, because when this generation goes to the street, the message is clear: reject and resist the finance bill. That is the message. And when you want to ask, ask them to talk, what do you want them to talk about? What do you want to talk to them about? They have told you, just remove this finance bill. I want you to listen to William Ruto talking about taxes. And that will tell you that he is not genuine when he's telling this group to come so that they can talk, knowing very well that the problem are the high taxes. The problem are the dictates of the Bretton Woods institutions, because we know. Can't you listen to William Ruto?
Tumesema ya kwamba we want to manage our development so that it is not based on borrowing. It is based on our own revenues and taxes. Na mimi nataka niwaambie hivi, serikali ya Kenya hakuna hata tax moja tumeongeza. Na hakuna hata tax itaongeza. Mtaona katika budget yetu ya mwezi wa sita tutakuwa tunapunguza taxes. Lakini tunasema ile tax imewekwa kila mtu alipe. Si ndio? Unajua hawa ambao wanatupigia makelele ni watu ambao hawataki kulipa ushuru kwa sababu wanajiona wao ni wadosi. Unajua, unasikia hata hii watu ya wanaongea kwa hii maandamano, wanaongea mambo ya tax. Lakini hawa hawasemi mambo ya tax ati kutetea mwananchi mdogo. Hapana. Wanasema mambo ya tax kutetea watu wadosi, wale ambao wamezoea kupatiwa waiver. Wewe umeshawahi kupatiwa waiver ya tax mahali popote? Wewe ambaye hujulikani, wale wanapata waiver ya tax ni watu wanajulikana. Watu wako na marafiki, watu wako na connection, watu wako na mpango. Sisi tumesema hakuna mtu atakuwa na connection, hakuna mtu atakuwa na mpango. Sisi wote tutalipa tax.
So that is William Samoei Ruto, and he was promising us that he will never engage in the business of adding taxes. And he told us, and you know that if we were to be given a chance to remind William Ruto all the things he promised us about, he talked about diapers that he was going to give freely. Now he wants to increase the taxes in it. Every little thing that William Ruto promised was a mere campaign gimmick, and he didn't care. He knew very well that you need to tell Kenyans what they need to hear at that particular moment, then you forget about them. He signed charters. Right now, all those charters that he signed, none of them has been respected. And so when he tells this generation that he wants to call them so that they can engaging on what? Because when he was campaigning, he told them, I would make a government of you, a government that you will be part of. He accused the former regime, of which he was also part, that they had forgotten the youth, the hustlers. And he promised that he would make up for them once he gets in. Tell me, in the appointments, if you've ever seen any hustler in those appointments. Do you know that they are not qualified? We have a generation here that have got documents and certificates just rotting in their files because there are no jobs. Some of them have tried businesses, but the environment for doing that business is equally bad. if investors are running away and the taxes are consuming the housing levy, the cost of production. So things are not working for them. Even the purchasing power has gone down because people don't have money. The unemployment rate has gone high. So we have a disappointed generation. And sometimes they look back and remember what the promises that they were told, and they feel cheap that they allowed this regime to hoodwink them. And so I don't think there's any need of engaging them. Let William Ruto go back to the archives. Just retrieve. This is what I told them. Implement. This is what I told the women. Implement. This is what I told the youth. Implement. There is nothing. You cannot engage people in another meeting, not unless you want to start afresh. And let me tell you, what they will be doing, they will segregate them and tell them, give us your leaders. Number one, if you select the so-called leaders, then they can bribe them. That is the first thing that they might do. And that's why they want to know. They want to say, give us the leaders. So that by doing that, they know, okay, now they will call them the ring leaders. And they can bribe them. Number two, they will be targeted. Once they know that in this area, this is the person manning this area, they will be targeted. In every demonstration, they will simply go and pick them up. They can even be killed. That's what they want to know. Because this generation was demonstrating as a whole group without, leaders and all this. But they want to know who is it that is coordinating so that they target them. Number three, they want the momentum to cool down. You'll be told, msiende kwa street, tunaangalia mambo yenyu. Hakuna mambo wanaangalia, waliahidi wakati wa campaigns, wakati walikuwa naomba kura. So right now when they come and tell us that, tunataka kukaa chini for what? So they want that momentum to come down. Once that momentum has gone down, they will create something else to grab headlines. It will not be about, because let me tell you, this finance bill is now fresh in our minds. It is grabbing headlines. Once it is passed, people will talk about it for just a few weeks, and it will be gone. And that is how they want to manage the expectation and the emotion of the people. Because William Ruto is determined to let this work. Because did you know that the day that bill was being passed, we had a representative from World Bank in Parliament. I understand that they were there just to ensure that their affairs were taken care of. Just the same way I continue saying, Meg Whitman was in Bomas during the verification and tallying of our results. So he's determined because he's pleasing his masters. If you ask me, there is nothing that there should never be any engagement between the executive and this generation. And if they want to mess, let some start betraying others. Because the major thing that the government is looking at is to divide them, either on account of their tribal basis or account of political. They will be looking for something, or it will be an economic class war. That's why people like Kimani Chungwa is saying that, these people, they arrive in Uber, they get to KFC, so that you who is there and you cannot afford Uber, you'll feel like, okay, so kuna wengine labda wanalipwa. And that's why Itumbi once said that there's someone sponsoring the demonstration, so that wewe ambao hauna pesa unasema, okay, mimi niko hapa nikipigwa tear gas, hakuna mtu atanisaidia, kumbe wengine wako hapa na wamelipwa pesa. Once that gets into your mind, then you forget about the real mission, and you start looking at people, you start pointing your finger, accusing fingers to someone. And the government is so much determined to ensure that this generation does not continue with the mission, because it is dangerous for them. Statistically, they know that the youth, both the Gen Z and the millennials, are many. They are the majority. If they decide to vote on one basket, they will take it over. They will give it to whoever they want. And they're so much threatened. That's why all the members of parliament never went to church today. Walijua it will be heckling, especially after what people like Ababu Namwamba faced, John Kiarie faced, Oscar Sudi faced. Even Gachagua today, Ole Sapit, the clergy, did not give him a chance to introduce his. He wanted some of his ally to talk, and Ole Sapit knew that it would turn into a political battlefield, and he was not given a chance. And I'm loving it when our churches declare that we don't want politics in our churches. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the Gen Z must continue with the fight. There's nothing that talking will solve, because William Ruto knows what you should hear and when, and he will tell you exactly that.